So what do we mean when we talk about tiered visual management? How do we organize our information to flow through the organization? So we can look at a higher level, we can see that at the very top management level, when we set a strategic target or a strategic goal, we're going to develop several different ways to actually achieve that target. Those are the key strategies. And the way this works in a process called Hoshin in the lean world, those key strategies, when they cascade down to that next level, they're going to become the targets for the division. And then the division says, okay, this is my target now, and here's how I'm going to achieve my targets with these key strategies. And those key strategies flow down to the department level, and they become the targets for that department level. And you can see it's this stair-step cascade that gets the key strategies and the key target from the top management level all the way down to the team level, so that when the team executes a key strategy and hits their target, the team members are going to know the influence they're going to have on the company's overall targets and goals. And we report up as the things cascade down. Now you notice between the targets and key strategies boxes at every level, there's a two-headed arrow. That means we're going to talk back and forth. We're not going to push anything down on anybody. We're not going to push anything up on anybody. We develop these in collaboration so that everybody owns what you decide to measure. In this workplace, you're going to have things that matter at tier 1, which is at the value creation level. Tier 2 is where several teams may work together on a particular department. And tier 3 is a facility level, maybe a little bit broader. This is just one small example of what you might see in a factory, perhaps. But at tier 1, we're going to talk about focusing on the work team itself. And we want to be able to communicate a balanced expectation of performance with that team. We want to be able to identify problems. We want to build their problem-solving skills. We want accountability to be absolutely crystal clear and measured and visible on the board. And we want to strengthen team identity. We want to provide more mobility and flexibility, because if people can do things in one place and they move to a new place and all of the visuals are the same, they're going to be much more effective there. I apologize for all the words on this slide, but I guess I was in a hurry and skipped over it. So here's an example of a team information board, and we'll break these out a little bit more. So in this case, you notice I talked about the glare and I talked about making it big. Not all these are like that, but these have team goals that are updated by hand every day in the key areas of quality and quantity and safety, and this time they have sustainability as their environmental goal. So they've got symbols, so you can see the symbols, the green dots and the red X's. That tells you whether you're on track today or not. So that whether you can read the chart is secondary. I can glance up and I can see where I need to give my attention, because if it's green, I don't need to worry too much about it. If it's red or yellow, I need to maybe focus on it and provide some resources to that team. In one organization, they had kiosks because they didn't have a lot of wall space. So that on the kiosk, they had all the kiosks organized the same way. And you can see that there's team information and safety on one. There's the productivity. This is the end of line yield, and this is the first pass yield in our day by the hour work plan. This is our improvements board. So they have ideas that they use on this top part, and then they have the C4 cards that they use below. And on this is other key issues, and they relate on-time delivery and notes about part shortages and things that are going to impact their work. Here's pictures of those 4 sides of the kiosk. So they're not all perfectly pretty and sanitary and sanitized and all that. Sometimes they just hang out there, and that's often the best way to determine whether people are actually using them. I see more and more electronic dashboards and electronic measurement systems, and this is one from a hospital. The other day I had a demonstration from a company called IOBEA that takes all these charts and they build these kind of dashboards that really looks very promising. So I'm going to try to pull some more information together and maybe partner up with them to figure out ways to more effectively measure things and still get the engagement that I'm looking for that I usually get from people interacting with the board itself. Here's another team information board from a hospital, and you can see they don't have the quick indicators. They've just got data charts. They've got some red-green stuff there under the initiatives, but this board, the team understood exactly how this board works, and that's way more important than you or I understanding it from one picture. But how could we improve something like this with some of those principles and some of those characteristics that I described earlier? Another team board, different categories and different columns this time. And on these, you can see there's more of a red-green down here. But what did we talk about? Colors and color blindness. Sometimes that's not actually the best indicator. This is one that I put in my Leader Sites book. And it's not perfect by any stretch either, but you can see the key areas that we're measuring are on the side. The people metric is up here. Okay, so I am looking to cross-train everybody and have them rotate through the work on a regular basis, and we're not there yet. I've got an attendance planner and a vacation, an attendance matrix and a vacation planner, or maybe a daily morale checker, so that after we have a huddle, you can put on the board how you're feeling that day. If you're kind of feeling grumpy and want to be left alone today, let us know. If you're feeling like the world is your oyster, put it on there that you feel great. I like to see the emergency evacuation plan out there where everybody can see it. So if we have an active shooter, people know exactly where to go. We need to have that practiced. And I put that on there to tell everybody in the organization that I really care about what happens to them. So if something bad happens, I want them to be able to get out of the building. If there's a storm, I want you to be able to take shelter in the right spot of the building. So I want to make sure we're communicating that. More important things or other important things include this day by the hour work plan. I like to see the work plan broken out by hour. That way I can look up and I know that if I'm behind, I know I'm behind. And maybe I can call and get some help. Maybe somebody who's having a really great day and had a lot of easy jobs come in, maybe they can come and help so that we can all still hit that target. I got space for team news, and then on the right side, the whole right side of the board is dedicated to improvement. So the C4 board is up there with problems and ideas, and the worksheets are down below that say, here's what's coming from teams who are doing projects with us, or some of the C4s that turn into bigger problems, bigger projects. They're indicated there as well. One of the things I want you to be able to do is create a tier 1 board for your organization. And as part of your countermeasure, when you decide how you're going to track things, I want to see the chart that you're going to use to track these things. So typically we want tier 1 to record certain things, and they flow up to tier 2. So all 4 of those from the teams go up to maybe a department leader, and maybe the number is going to change. Maybe the team will use raw numbers of whatever we're doing. And they can be very diverse teams doing all kinds of different things. So I don't just want to roll those raw numbers up to the tier 2 because we might misinterpret the performance at the tier 1 level. So maybe we'll change this to a percentage metric instead of a raw number metric. And of course, tier 2 with all the other tier 2s, they're going to feed up to tier 3, which might be a senior level, and you might even have a tier 4 that's going to be your executive level. But I need to know that if I'm here at tier 1 and I'm on time, I'm here working, and we're reporting attendance all the way up, and we've got a great attendance record. And if we have 100% attendance at huddles for the plan for this particular time period, we're going to have a potluck, or we're going to have a half-day party or something like that. So there has to be some reason people want to do these things. And it's the way we communicate. This communicates up and down through the organization. Building these is a little tougher than it seems, and getting people to actually stick with them has been extremely difficult, even in organizations that are relatively mature with their lean journey. I've been struggling with this one client of mine for 3 years, where I'm coaching them to do this one little tweak to their system, and they're just either there's a leader in one place who doesn't want to do it, or there's a leader who misinterprets it and does it a different way and it doesn't work right. So be patient with this, and just keep this in mind. If you're not getting the behavior that you want, it's because you're measuring something wrong. So in this module, we covered the purpose of measurement in the workplace. We covered goals and metrics and characteristics of good goals and metrics. We talked about the characteristics of good visual management systems and the one-eyed man on a galloping horse. We talked about the key point of key performance indicators being to drive the behavior that we're looking for. And then we talked about building this tiered visual management system. In module 17, we'll start getting more into this tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 levels as we talk more about leaders and leader standard work. That's what's coming up next.